Hey everybody, it's Andy in the outdoor program at Campus Recreation. Hey, I wanted to share with you a few resources that I use to get really good, accurate weather forecasts for when you're going to go out there and go hiking or snowshoeing or mountain biking. And so, yeah, I'm going to share with you a few websites that I like to use to get a good, accurate weather forecast for that day. A couple of things about weather forecasts is that, let's remember that the mountains and the higher elevations create different weather conditions. There can be a day in Fort Collins where you can snowshoe in the morning and then come back to town and play sand volleyball. And so it's really important to remember that we get a good weather forecast for the location that we're going to go to. Weather forecasts are, of course, predictions. And so that means that, they're going to be more accurate as we get closer to the now, to the present. And that really means, kind of that 2 or 3 day period is going to be where the weather forecast becomes the most accurate, as opposed to maybe 6, 7, or 10 days out. And when we're looking at a weather forecast, we're really paying attention to three things: the temperature, how hot or cold it's going to be; the wind, is it going to be really windy or is the wind going to be nice and light? And then the precipitation, is there going to be rain and thunderstorms coming in the afternoon? Is there going to be snow or new snow that we're going to be able to snowshoe or ski on? And so those are the three factors that we're typically looking at a good weather forecast. The main site that I like to use is really just the weather.gov site with the National Weather Service. If you just go to weather.gov, it'll land you on this homepage here, and you can see all the counties are displayed in the United States here. But we can just go up to this search bar here and type in Fort Collins, and it should find us there. We can click on Fort Collins. And you can see here that the Fort Collins weather forecast has kind of laid out here by the current conditions. It has more of an extended forecast with some graphics, the highs and low temperatures, a little bit more detailed forecast here with some details around what the weather's going to do on that day. But the thing that I really like about the weather.gov site is this map here that has this little green box. Right now it's kind of right in the middle of Fort Collins. You can see here the elevation is 4,900 feet around. And so what's really cool about this map is that you can click and drag it around. So today's high is 73 degrees here in Fort Collins, but let's say that we wanted to go up to Bear Lake and go up snowshoeing today. Well, we could come up here to Estes Park and we could zoom in to where Bear Lake is. It's located right around here, and we could click right there where Bear Lake is. And you can see now that the weather forecast is recalibrated for that new location of 8,000 feet. And so you can see that the high temperature today is 48 degrees, which was much, much colder than the forecast in Fort Collins, about 20 degrees colder. And so what's really nice is this is now recalibrated for the location that I want to go to. So you can come back down to that map and drag around. And like I said, you can scroll and zoom in. It'll often give you very, very detailed information. You can see Bear Lake Road here, Bear Lake. And so you can get really, really zoomed in on where you want to go. The other thing I really like about the weather.gov site is the hourly weather forecast. This is more of a graphical view of the weather forecast. You can see what the temperature trend is going to do here. Here's the wind speed and direction. Sky cover, is it going to be cloudy or sunny throughout the day? So if you're more of a graph person, this can be really helpful. I like to use in the summer this little um, element here called the lightning activity level. It helps you understand, if there's going to be really high lightning potential in the afternoon, because oftentimes we don't want to go hiking and up in the high mountains in the summertime because of the lightning risk. And so that can be really helpful for determining that. And the rain and stuff will be listed on here as well if it were to be on the forecast. So another website that I like to use, and this is a great site if you're kind of a visual animation color person, is this website called windy.com. And they've pretty much just animated all of the sort of weather happenings around the United States. Right now I've got it on the wind here. You can change it to temperature, and by color here it'll show you kind of where the temperatures are. You can see the temperatures are much lower here right now in the mountains of Colorado as they are in the plains where it's around 70 degrees, kind of lower here, lower temperatures here at the higher elevations. So it's really cool website. You can zoom in just like the weather.gov site. And let's say you wanted to go up snowshoeing up in Cameron Pass and you wanted to get a forecast for there, you could zoom in a little bit more. Here's the Pooter Canyon where it kind of comes up through Rustic and Cameron Pass area, kind of right around here near Chambers Lake and Joe Wright Reservoir. I could click right here and get a little carrot forecast. Click that carrot. And you can see here that the forecast has got some nice graphics here to kind of do every 3 hours an estimation of what the weather is going to be doing in terms of temperature, wind, precipitation. Right now it's using the European weather model, which is kind of a global weather model. The North American model here, the NAM, is a model for the United States. It's a little bit more centered around the United States. You can click that if you want to see what the North American model is saying. You can see that the North American model is showing sun all day, whereas the European model is predicting some little bits of clouds to come in. And so, you can kind of toggle back and forth there and see what those different weather models are doing. If you want to see what the all the weather models are doing, there's a great website that a lot of folks use, and the third one I'm going to show you called Meteo Blue, just meteoblue.com. This is another website where you can click on the location search here, and it'll have a map that populates here, and you can click around. Let's say you want to go hike up near Gray Rock. It's a popular hiking area in the Pooter Canyon. Here's Gray Rock. I can click right here and click weather for this place, and it'll now give me a recalibrated weather forecast for that location, and another great just general graphics and information for each day. Give you a sense of what the predictability of the weather forecast is. Sometimes if we have a lot of thunderstorm activity, there can be some variance and discrepancy around that, and in determining like what is actually going to happen. And you can see here too that there's just general information for the day by every 3 hours. Sunrise and sunset time can be really helpful, even kind of what the moon's going to be doing. But what I like to use this website for is comparing all those weather models that I talked about. And for here, you can go to compare different forecasts with the multi-model. And you can see here that we're on that 3-day length, a little bit more accurate than 7 or 6 days out here. And this is where Meteo Blue will list all of the weather models that are being run throughout the globe around what's going to happen in America and what's going to happen in the United States. I have the temperature here, precip, looks like we're staying pretty dry here. Wind speed and wind direction is listed there. You can see here that here's that North American model that I was telling you about, as well as the GFS. That's another kind of global model. And so this is really where you can really look at all the different weather models and what they're going to predict. And what you're looking for here is really just congruency. You want to see that these weather models are in agreement that, today it's going to be sunny. As we get further out or we get more precipitation in, you might see some more variance in what each model is predicting. And so you can use that to inform your decision making and help plan your next trip, your next hike out into the mountains by determining, is it going to be sunny? Is there going to be some rain coming in? And when is it going to get here? Is it going to start more around noon? Is it going to be more of a late afternoon thunderstorm? Or is that rain really going to roll in the morning? And so that can be really helpful when you're out planning your next adventure. So yeah, I hope those were helpful little websites that you could use. Remember that the weather in the mountains is always going to be quite a bit different than it is here in town and at campus. And so getting a good forecast for where you're going to go is super important to stay safe and have a good time. And that the forecast accuracy is just always going to get better the closer it is to the now. And yeah, so I hope those websites were helpful for you in planning your next outdoor adventure.